Project Exploration presents 15 for 15, celebrating 15 extraordinary years with 15 extraordinary people who make it all happen.
I'm Walter Johnson-Geis. I am a former dinosaur giant and science giant team member, and I will be attending Lawrence University in the fall. So I went to something called Reptile Fest every year with my uncle, and there would always be, which is basically just a bunch of reptiles in a gym, and I was like, wow, this is great, because I was 8 years old, and there was a table that Project Exploration had, and it was, it outlined the sort of the mission of the organization and some of the volunteer opportunities that they had, and I said, well, please let me join. They said, you're a little too young, but definitely come back next year, and so I did every year until they let me join, when I was, I think, 12 or 11. Well, I was so enthusiastic because I had been going to the Field Museum for years. I loved it. Like, I just would run around until I couldn't run around anymore. My parents would pick me up and take me home. And so to be like volunteering at the Field Museum was like, oh my God, I work here now. This is my favorite place. And then the Children's Museum too, which I love. And so it was, yeah, it was a constant state of aggravating enthusiasm from me, I think. What you do is you just kind of sidle up to a kid and you're like, hey, there are fossils on the floor, and they're like, what? Are you serious? I'm like, yeah, they're all, there's one right there, and there's one right there, and there's one over there. And then they run back to their friends and they say, oh my God, you guys, there are fossils everywhere. And so then they come back and they see the fossils that I have that are sort of out, and you go from there. Really awesome long conversation about some rocks that I had with these people from the Middle East who I'd never met before and never saw again, but it was nice to just sort of have that connection with them based on science completely. We had no shared context. I was a kid living in the United States and they were adults living in the Middle East, and it was just nice to sort of connect with them on some level based only on science education. And I think that, again, that's part of Project Exploration's mission statement, is to sort of bring people together and lift people up using those tools. While I was interested in paleontology before I started Project Exploration, it really cemented my interest in science education, public education, social activism, and stuff like that. So while I do really want to study pure science and maybe be a professor someday, I also want to kind of do outreach programs and maybe work with some NGOs as well. Project Exploration is so willing and able and really enthusiastic about bringing science to people who, honestly, first of all, science is awesome and science education is awesome, but bringing science education to people who might not necessarily pursue it and making people more aware of its importance, and I think that's incredible for an organization to be able to do something like that.